Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. As a matter of fact, become a member to the channel. It's only a couple of dollars a month, so if you're spending money on BS and you come to my channel and you like to hear these videos, $2 or $3 membership doesn't really affect you. Nonetheless, Shakur Stevenson, let me just say this. My boy passed the test, didn't he? I see a lot of people are coming out here saying, oh, you were hating on him. Oh, you're a hater. See, that's young people talking. Because this generation, if you're not telling them how great they are, and if you're not agreeing with them, and if you're not lauding them, just because they feel they deserve that, even though they haven't earned it, they're going to sit there and be a little butthurt because you're not telling them what they want to hear. So as far as anyone out there who was calling me a hater because I said I understand Shakur should be the favorite, however, I need to see if he can deal with that pressure. Well, then so be it. But it doesn't really affect Hood Champion. So to all the McNicholases and Seagulls out there, a kindly request in the most respectful way, and that you hold your horses and stop taking it to the stupid man. This Shakur passed the test. Of course he passed the goddamn test. Most of y'all, y'all definitively knew he was going to pass the test. I said he should, but I wasn't too sure, you know what I'm saying? But he got in there in them first 4 rounds, there was a little bit of pucker factor going on. But yeah, emphatically, he shocked a lot of people. For anyone out there saying, yeah, we knew Shakur was going to do that. No, you didn't. Nobody knew he was going to do that. Even Crawford and them guys and Clarissa Shields and them guys, even his corner was telling him, like, yo, get off the ropes. Nobody knew he was going to do that shit. Shakur knew what he was going to do. Now, you may have felt he had the ability to perform like that, but no one knew that he was going to do what he did. The only person who knew was Shakur Stevenson. And I'm going to tell you, for him to get in there against a relentless opponent like Zepeda, hey, y'all know Zepeda still threw about 1,000 punches, right? So Zepeda did what he normally does. I thought Shakur had slowed him down. I guess, maybe because Zepeda didn't throw them 2,000 punches I was expecting him to throw. But he still threw close to 1,000 punches, man. And Shakur somehow, like I said, that tornado was coming at his ass. He had to get into the eye of the storm, and he got into the eye of the storm, and although Zepeda threw 1,000 or so punches, Shakur landed 50% accuracy. With 50% accuracy. That is crazy to still be able to manage to land like that. Every other shot, he was binging Zepeda. And let me tell you something, in order to do that, you got to have composure. You got to have ring IQ, and you really have to have confidence and grit. And Shakur Stevenson showed all of those things this past weekend, and he needed to, especially after getting clipped. Was it round 3? Sitting in that pocket too long on those ropes, trying to prove a point that he could fight off the ropes, center of the ring, anywhere inside that square circle, that he was comfortable and that he was the big dog, right? Stayed in that pocket, opposed to retreating, and got his ass clipped. And you even see that little video of his daughter saying, Daddy, you almost got knocked out. And Shakur was like, what is you talking about? They were talking about what we all saw and what your corner was freaking out about. And all the fans in that stadium who started gasping and mouths were agape. Like, holy shit. Yeah, because Zepeda got to him. But what impressed me is Shakur took that shot, being on the chin. He smiled, and then he just went back to work. But Zepeda early in that fight, Shakur was touching him up, you know what I'm saying? But Zepeda, he had a couple moments. And for those of y'all saying Zepeda can't hit, Zepeda's trash, he's one-dimensional. You know why I don't pay y'all no attention? Because Shakur says something different. That's why sometimes I don't respond to comments. Or I'll just post a picture of this weird bird and these little emojis I find. Because y'all out here talking about your fucking asses. How you going to come out here and say Zepeda's a bum? He can't hit. He's garbage. How you saying that when Shakur Stevenson is telling you, if I didn't pull up my pants, cinch down my belt, bite on my goddamn gum shield, and say, you know, I'm ready to die. He turned to Biggie Smalls in the ring. Shakur Stevenson turned to a hip hop artist. He said, yo, I'm ready to die in here. Shakur said he didn't do that, man. He could have went bad. But he was ready. He was more than ready. And it showed. But I'm going to tell you, for me, everyone keeps talking about Shakur's defense. Some are talking about his offense. I think we really need to have that conversation about, forget the defense and offense. It's his willingness to engage. And what I mean is, he was willing to engage at all times in that fight. And as far as what happened with De Los Santos, look, Shakur was a boxer runner in that fight. No one can argue that. I will say this. Shakur was trying to stand and hold his ground in the first round against De Los Santos. He got hit with some shit that he didn't like. And that's where Shakur Stevenson turned into Carl Lewis. He turned into a little bit of Usain Bolt up in there because he was like, hell no. And understandably so, because everyone who when they talk about Edwin De Los Santos from actually fighting him or sparring him, they say that dude can crack. So I like the fact that Shakur Stevenson post-fight said, okay, what you guys saw me do with Zepeda, don't think you're going to see that in the next fight and subsequent fights. You know, I box checked, I can do it. I did it against the 135-pound boogeyman. So going forward, don't expect to see that again. I need to preserve myself. I need to not take damage. I just need to win fights. Okay? Everyone knows I can do it. Please shut up. Leave me alone. And I think he has every right to be that way. But let me point out something else that's a fact. The way I'm applauding him for being willing to engage. Let me tell you something. He was landing the cleaner counters all night. There were some of those combinations Shakur threw. It wasn't a 2-punch combination. Some of them 4 or 5-punch combinations. Every single shot in the combination landed. Clean, man. When I say clean, I mean clean. If Shakur had more pop, Shakur would destroy people. Like really destroy people. Be knocking people out cold. You know, he can hit, but he can't crack. If he could crack, I'm telling you, Shakur, he may be damn near unbeatable. But anyway, he made Zepeda miss over 700 times. They actually tallied that. Shakur Stevenson made Zepeda miss over 700 times. That is crazy. But not crazy when you're talking about Shakur Stevenson and how great he is. So now it's like, okay, after that performance, even I said, yo, he got a little bit of Money Mayweather in him. Not Pretty Boy Floyd, because we can't take it to the stupid here. But you got to give him some credit. He got a little bit of Money Mayweather in him. Now Shakur is Shakur, Floyd is Floyd. But you just got to think, he's not Mayweather 2.0, but he's from that lineage. You know what I mean? You can see that he's a modern evolution of that whole hit and don't get hit philosophy. And I think it's a compliment for people to compare him to Floyd, Pernell Whitaker, and other fighters who would be in that ring and hit you where you couldn't hit him. You know who else could do that? Was Juan Guzman. Most of y'all don't know who he is. You may have heard his name from working with Jermell Charlo. Juan Guzman was a beast, Dominican fighter. Very hard to hit him. But what I would say is like Floyd Shakur, he blends defensive mastery with sharp counters, and that's where you're watching that, and where you can, if you enjoy watching Floyd Mayweather fight, from Pretty Boy to Money May, then you're gonna enjoy watching Shakur Stevenson with that defensive mastery, timing, and that effective counterpunching. It's just Floyd had more pop in his punches. But the bottom line is Shakur gets the job done with those same skill sets. But he's forging his own path in boxing, and I like that about Shakur. He's taken a little bit of what all the greats that he admired have done, and he's kind of coalesced all that together to create his own style, coupled with what his grandfather instilled in him as a fighter. But you know why? I'm gonna tell you why Shakur doesn't get a lot of praise. Even now, there's still people out here. Oh, he's born, he runs, he's this, he's that. You know what the problem is? Although he got a little bit of Money May in him, as far as that lineage of defensive mastery and counterpunching, he's not flashy. Floyd would say, I'm flashy, this and that. Shakir's not flashy. And that is what I think is his Achilles heel when it comes to the fans' acceptance or lack of acceptance of him as a great fighter. He's not flashy. And I'm going to tell you, he doesn't have to be flashy. He has to be effective. What they saw this weekend, I don't see how anyone here cannot give that man credit. I mean, I was saying this before the fight. Some people are saying it now. I think they be watching my videos and stealing my shit. But I was saying, I saw a little bit of like Floyd Mayweather against, Cotto. You know what I'm saying? Where you just said Cotto was bringing a heat to Floyd, boy. And he touched up Floyd a few times. And then Floyd was able to slice and dice him and count him. Wasn't able to get him out there, but you could tell he hurt him a few times. Same way with Shakur. Slice and dicing Zepeda and hurt him a couple of times. Wasn't able to get him out of there. But it was, I ain't saying it was the exact same fight, but you're watching that and you can say, damn, this man got a little bit of Money made. Floyd had to dig deep, absorb pressure, absorb some shots. Shakur Stevens had to dig deep, absorb that pressure, and absorb some shots. So Shakur Stevenson's destiny is being reflected right now. And I think it's only fair to give that man a pass and go ahead and welcome him in to that fraternity of great defensive fighters, great offensive fighters, great counterpunch fighters, fighters with great timing, ring IQ, and ring generalship. I think he needs to be allowed to enter that fraternity right now. Is he a legend? No. So hold your horses and don't take it to the stupid. He's not a goddamn legend. He ain't really, he's 3 different weight divisions, but come on, he needs to fight. But it's not his fault now. But he's trying to go after big fights. I see he's trying to go up 2 weight division and fight Conor Ben. I think he dropped the ball by not fighting Devin Haney. Should have took the 25%. I was saying, I've done videos on that shit. I think he would have beat Devin. But nonetheless, he's out here playing catch up now because trying to become undisputed is hard. He could have had it, but he chose not to do it. Anyway, I think Shakur Stevenson is on his way. Now, when you look at the final punch stats between Shakur and Zepeda, Shakur Stevenson threw 565 punches, Zepeda threw 979. So he's cresting right at that 1,000 punches thrown mark. Shakur landed 295, Zepeda landed 272. So Shakur outlanded him. 52% accuracy from Shakur, 27% accuracy from Zepeda, 55.6% power punch accuracy from Shakur. That was a big deal. And 30.5% power punch accuracy from Zepeda. So people saying Zepeda wasn't landing nothing. No, he landed some shots, which you expect to get hit fighting a guy like Zepeda. So you got to give them both credit. But, Shakur in these punch stats, it just shows you how great he is. The man landed every other punch, which is amazing. Jabs landed with 96 for Shakur, 119 for Zepeda. Power punches landed 199 for Shakur, 153 for Zepeda. body shots landed from Shakur were 42, 110 for Zepeda, but Shakur's definitely had more sting on him. You know what I'm saying? So, in conclusion, Zepeda landed more punches on Shakur than anyone else has. And even Shakur knew that was going to happen. But I think Shakur, he chose a style of fighting that would allow Zepeda to land the percentage that he landed on him. But the bottom line is Shakur landed more shots, cleaner shots, with more efficiency. And again, this is why it's not just a win for Shakur. It's really a statement. You know what I mean? If he keeps evolving like this, the comparisons to Floyd Mayweather, man, they won't just be like poetic. They'll be, like prophetic. You know what I'm saying? Like we're speaking it into existence. Like if it's a picture, maybe the body is drawn. Maybe a few extremities are drawn, but now you slowly but surely you see the face start to come together, and then you get it to appreciate the whole picture. But it's coming together right before our eyes, man. And I just think, as far as what's next for Shakur, I don't know, but I'm gonna have a tough time, going against him. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. They say greatness is inherited, But sometimes, man, somebody looks in that mirror, like Shakur Stevenson, and you see something looking back at you. And sometimes that silhouette you're seeing looking back at you is not your own. And I think when Shakur looks in that mirror after this weekend, he looking and he's seeing a silhouette of a legacy, a silhouette of being the next coming of a guy like Mayweather with that counterpunching ability, timing, defensive mastery. And I just think it's really his destiny, man, to go and do something great in the sport. I do want to see him getting there with some hard punches. A guy like Tank Davis and Shakur would be a huge fight, a huge fight. But I'll say I think it kind of sucks because Tank looks human now. There was a point where Gervonta Davis didn't look human, but now he looks human. And so if Shakur goes and fights him, if Tank gets past Roach, and Shakur beats him, how much credit is Shakur really going to get? But if Tank blasts out Lamont Roach in a rematch, and Shakur comes and clips Tank, he's going to get credit. I don't know. We just got to wait and see, man, how all this plays out. Anyway, shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Shakur's destiny is reflected. And I think his legacy is really starting to come together. Because whether you want to agree or not, Zepeda was ranked number 1 across all them sanctioning bodies. So Zepeda was the top dog, man. Everybody, some of that goddamn Zepeda. So give Shakur his credit. I'm giving him his credit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but he had to prove that shit to me. I'm not a fan. What do young people say? Fanboy and all that shit. No, man. I mean, I critically analyze these dudes. SWOT analysis, 8-step problem solving, and all that shit. I come in here like the old project manager I used to be. You know what I'm saying? And that's the hat I put on when it comes to some of these fighters. I'm gonna do a video about Danny DeBar and Usyk tomorrow. And again, I'll kick some knowledge on that. There's some people saying that I'm gonna be wrong about Danny DeBar. Let me tell you something. The hood champion crystal ball is working just fine. All we can do is speculate, predict, and dialogue. And even if we get some wrong, who gives a shit? It's just like investing. All you can do, man, is try to educate yourself, understand different stocks, different investments. You want to buy a house, you want to do an Airbnb, whatever it is. Educate yourself, go uninformed, then make a decision on what you want to do. It may work out, it may not. But you mitigate the risk of just totally falling on your face when you try to educate yourself and get smart. And with Shakur Stevenson, I hit that shit on the head where I said he's gonna have to get in the eye of the storm. He's gonna have to. I said a lot. But he's gonna have to disrupt. He's gonna have to adjust, and he's gonna have to make Zepeda pay and slow him down. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if he can do that. He's got to prove to me that he can do that. Because that means he can't just run around the ring. You got to hold your ground. And Shakur, he did exactly what I said he needed to do. So we'll see what's next for him. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.